それでは次のセッションを始めましょう。Let's begin the next session. テーマは VC における視点。The theme will be VC perspectives. Speakers are Shinlabs founder investor Alex Shin, 1KX partner Diana Biggs, OKX Ventures partner Jeff Ren, Hashkey Capital CEO, Hashkey and Head Hashkey Singapore, Chao Ding. よろしくお願いします。Come on up on the stage.
All right. Everybody got their mics? All right, folks. So this is the VC Perspectives panel. My name is Alex Shin. I don't have a house. I travel all over the world, and I come to WebEx every year, usually to run a VC panel. So here we are. Can we run down the line and everybody just give a quick introduction of yourself and your fund, just so we can set the stage?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Diana Biggs, a partner at 1KX. We are a crypto native venture firm investing across the space, founded back in 2018 by two former tech entrepreneurs. And that kind of dictates how we have our culture as well, very founder first. And it's great to be here. Thanks.
Hi, I'm Jeff Ren from OKX Ventures, close enough to 1KX, I guess. Yeah. And I borrowed a shirt from our partner, OKJ, which just did this rebranding campaign. Many of you might have seen this logo on the taxi here. Very good job. And so we are the venture arm of OKX, and we invest in projects and mostly help the firm formulate and execute our strategy. We can talk a little bit more about that later. Yeah.
Now?
Hi, I'm Nao Kitazawa, and I'm from 8 Roads Ventures. 8 Roads Ventures is a global VC, and we have a Tokyo office, of which our Japan fund manages about $500-600 million US dollar. We have a third fund. We pretty much invest in a lot of things related to technology, and but my agenda is to really sort of focus on the new technology, including blockchains and Web3. Part of the reasons why is because I used to run Coinbase Japan for about 5 days, and until 5 years, sorry, until we wound down our operation last year. So you know, my big aspiration is to really sort of have the fund to double down on Web3 more. Thanks.
All right, I want to do something a little more broader as well. So we have, for those of you guys that don't know, we have a very crypto native fund, 1KX, and we have perspectives from an exchange and corporate VC arm of that, and then a very global sort of growth fund, right? What are some specific areas that you guys can share that as investors you guys are looking into? Diana?
Yeah, so to kick things off, as I mentioned, so we're investing across the entire crypto ecosystem. So we divide that broadly into 3 areas. Infrastructure, so there we're looking at scaling solutions, at DePIN, and other areas of the sort of the core layers of infrastructure that support the rest of the space. And then middleware, so there we're looking at wallet solutions. We've recently done an investment in Rhinestone, which is looking at modular accounts for smart accounts, and staking as well. We also recently invested in Kiln, which is a leading enterprise staking solution. And then consumer. And consumer is a really exciting area for us as well, where you have social, you have gaming, and really anything fun that you can build on top of the other layers.
Jeff, any thoughts?
Sure, yeah. So here at OKX, we are known, probably widely known as one of the most trusted centralized exchanges operating on global scale, and we've been around probably with one of the longest history as well. We also, as many of the audience here would know, OKX also has this widely used OKX Web3 wallets, where we promote self-custody and decentralized business, supporting over almost 120 public chains, and where we build swap and bridge functions within the wallet. And so in support of these business lines, OKX Ventures actually look at projects that would probably encourage the mass adoption, and also put many of the early projects into proof of concept stage, and work aligned with the infrastructure our firm can provide to take the companies to all the projects to the next level. So we come in really as not just the capital provider, but more like a partner that where we can support with the firm's resources altogether. Yeah.
So we're open to any new ideas and new technologies and whatnot, but our original investment thesis is more at the growth stage, whereby there's relatively a product market fit out there, and there's the market. So if we apply that to Web3 context, I guess 3 points, right? So one is what are the pain points, and how would this business solve this pain points? And then the second point, I guess, is the market. Is there any legit market? It's not like close confined market, but is it we were looking for more of a broader market. And then third, I guess, is actually a team members. How are these team members trying to resolve these problems and really have the guts to do the business until the point of exit, which is, again, it's a controversial, I guess, topic of exit in terms of crypto. But from our original investment thesis as a traditional VC, those are some of these perspectives that we have.
I want to touch on this product market fit kind of idea, because we have VCs from very different approaches to this category. Diana, like when you think about product market fit as primarily token investors, right? What does that mean? What does that look like?
Yeah, so we, as you mentioned, we are very focused on token networks, and that's really the core of our thesis, is that blockchains are essentially machines for trust, and we're moving from a world of trusted intermediaries to a world where these token networks allow for open, permissionless innovation, and that is done through the networks actually coordinating the behavior. And so I guess it's sort of a question of having the fit with the community and the build out of the network. And when you have that traction and that flywheel in the network, that it becomes a self-sustaining network.
Like what's traction on the network side look like? Is it like community members? Is it activities on chain? Or we're investing before mainnet, I presume, right?
Yeah, so we invest early, and then we tend to follow on. So the majority of our investments are seed and Series A, and so it can really be as early as an idea. And then with our team, we're working closely with those teams to help them build out. We're sort of known for being very hands-on investors and focused on helping to build those networks. And so, as you say, yeah, obviously community is really foundational to that. But there's a multitude of aspects in that, and that's sort of one of the areas that makes Web3 what it is, essentially, is that it's defined by these networks, and there's obviously a high degree of complexity in that for founders to navigate, and so we do work closely on that. There's aspects of capital markets, of economic mechanisms and design, and then community being at the core.
Jeff, do you have any thoughts on sort of product market fit or what type of founders, investment opportunities make the most sense for OKX Ventures?
Sure. So we invest both in equity and token. So in that sense, and you asked about the tokens. The consideration around that, we will look at. We want the token to be really crypto or blockchain native, right? We don't want that to be a proxy or I hate to say, a sham of another like economic interest of a sort. So we look at the real utility function of those tokens and how it actually embedded in the blockchain ecosystem, Web3 ecosystem that they operate in. And so that's one. And we also try to take a step back and try to be involved as part of the ecosystem or the community they're building and not overstepping. And that's actually very tempting for someone that been probably around for a while, seeing enough projects to try to, play a little bit of ego and try to say, this is the right way or wrong way to do it. In this business, we're full of innovation, disruption. We're humbled every day to meet promising founders with very, very innovative, exciting ideas. Where we can point out are probably the areas for attention, I guess, not necessarily concerns. And we would like the founders to pay attention to that and actually use the technology to tackle that. And people try to avoid that by taking certain shortcuts, right? For example, in certain jurisdiction, we heard from lawyers say, the best way is try not to operate here. I think that's a pretty lousy legal opinion, right? So, how your product, your technology, how you operate, I think that's more important than how you put things, on paper and try to pass through check certain boxes and pass through certain hurdles. Because every stakeholder in our ecosystem, we take entrepreneurs, we take investors, we take community members, even regulators as the stakeholder. And the system is ever evolving, and we're playing catch up to each other. So there's no set rule or protocol where you can operate, find a safe harbor. I think that at the end of the day, it's all about what kind of technology you're adopting, what kind of product you're doing, what kind of exactly the market fit you're trying to tackle. That would make your project unique and exciting and create value to distinguish yourself. So that's kind of the little bit of a worldview that we have.
Yeah, I wanted to actually touch on that idea as well. Do you have any thoughts, or anybody here on the panel, thoughts on sort of macro perspectives on trends that are changing? Are you seeing more projects? Are you seeing less projects? Are you seeing more mainnets, more infra? Are you seeing more consumer apps coming around the corner? Are there any particular regions that are more active when it comes to investment opportunities? Now?
All right, I'll chime in then. Well, I'm not really sure if it's the trend or not, but what I personally want to really see is the real world use case where, as Jeff mentioned, whether that utility has the real means for it, as opposed to, crypto service just serving for just a small crypto community. What could help my mother's life, by means of blockchains and Web3. And we haven't really seen that much, but, I've been in close discussion with some of the folks here in Japan, as well as the governmental organization who are trying to promote this, real world use cases. And I've been seeing some signs of, business popping up as to how, we are to really sort of utilize and leverage this blockchain technology that has evolved for about 10 years and really make it as a use of a real world use case. So that's something that we are looking into momentarily.
Great. Diana.
Yeah, so we invest globally, and I think one of the really fantastic and exciting things about crypto is that you're seeing that innovation coming from everywhere, and that it's really open for founders and builders around the world to participate in the ecosystem and to become part of that, no matter where they are located. So we are scoping that globally. I think, as I mentioned, consumer. I think there's been a lot of talk and excitement in the last few months about the potential for applications and wanting to see people actually building now that we have all this great infra and the space has really evolved. I've been in crypto 10 years now, and it's kind of, we're seeing more and more new ecosystems emerge, and it's really exciting to have that diversity of scope. But I think there is still a lot of opportunity on all areas across from infra to middleware to applications, and that we need that kind of flywheel between each of those to help that development happen. But also crypto, I would say, in the last 10 years has become much more complex. I mean, back in the day, we essentially just had Bitcoin, and then it was the Ethereum ecosystem. And now there's really so much happening. And that's actually why we've also started to take an approach of having category and sector specialists within our team, so that people can, our team can get deep into each of these areas to focus on. So we have Peter Pan, who's focused on the consumer side, Wei Dai on infra, and you really have to dive deep because of all the incredible innovation that's happening in each of those specific areas as well. So that's something that we've seen evolve along the way as well.
Yeah, Jeff, you've been doing this for a while too. So some trends that you're seeing.
Yeah. In earlier days, we kind of talk about crypto or whatever the blockchain related subject into three things, right? We talk about blockchain. We talk about Bitcoin. We talk about blockchain. We talk about crypto in the middle, right? So I think right now the distinction, delineation started to blur to a large extent. By blockchain, I think what we meant mostly private chains or the projects that are not using tokens as incentives, right? So you're doing more like a SaaS or some sort of technical solutions. Now I think if we look at real world asset, I think the biggest thing right now is stablecoins all over the places, and in different regions, different jurisdictions, people are promoting that. I think that's the low-hanging fruit. And securities, commodities, other kind of financial instrument, very hard to find a real case, because the digitalization, the regulation has come about it, and it's very mature, very efficient. So we start to look at projects that are in some other bigger asset class, but are not having a very good standard to start with, liquidity, the other, and also the kind of aligned economic system, for example, carbon, right? So that's something that could be much bigger. So when I say the lines start to blur, is that you want to build some of these use case or real world asset moving on chain, and people start to think, oh, we actually need a token or a kind of economic system to build around it. So that can move more cryptalized. And on the Bitcoin, I don't know how many of you in the audience are the so-called, the degen of Maxi for Bitcoin. 2 years ago, or before that, it's all HODL, it's all belief of that. A couple of things changed. One is that we start to see projects like Onos and other so-called Bitcoin network built on asset class that created on the Bitcoin. So we never thought that would be possible 2 years ago, right? And the layer twos, right? So all these projects start to move their treasury on the Bitcoin network to start to find yields, find other kind of returns. And yeah, I think then you start to realize a POW network, a Bitcoin network, can actually start to create value and build on some derivative kind of effects, impact around that. So you see another kind of convergence there between Bitcoin and the crypto side. So this is all exciting. I mean, it's very hard to hold on one belief, and you kind of, we're in this because we want to see innovation, we want to see disruption, we want to see possibilities. And I think what I can say after, a tenure or sort of a few years here is that, we still see innovation every day. So for whoever that are either new to this or from a very, suspicious perspective to a believer, or from a believer of one side of the spectrum to the other. I think all I can say is that sky is not even the limit. There's all sorts of creativities around it, and just believing that and keep building. I think you would need to, in this business, you would need to find your tribe, a couple of other guys around the world, here in Japan, Korea, Hong Kong, China, well, Hong Kong/China, and for that matter, and all that, and you will find your tribe, right? And work with them, virtually, meet in person, try to change some notes, and do that. I think there are a lot of activity around. Yeah, you wouldn't be alone. That's all I want to say. Yeah.
Diana, comments?
Yeah, I think another thing that's interesting that's changed is that we're seeing more great talent, and there's always been great talent entering the space, but now there's even more because previously, and this is something that I've been told myself in the past, people would say to you, "Oh, you're going to crypto, that's career suicide," and it's that there's still a lot of misconceptions out there, but increasingly mindset is shifting. We even see that in the media. It tends to happen with the cycles of the market because when things are up, everything is great.
This is so much better than 2017. Trust me.
Yeah, this is fine. We are fine. But yeah, so more people are able to go. Even like BlackRock and these other signals. Maybe earlier days were it was all about disrupting those models, and now there's realizing that it's actually going to be symbiosis, and that we want everyone to be able to enter and take advantage of this technology. And so more people are feeling that they have the opportunity to enter. That said, crypto is not for the faint of heart, and so it's really important also is for entrepreneurs who are able to navigate, and operational teams that are able to operate through any type of market environment, and who really see the longer term vision versus a market, and are able to stay that course, because it is particularly challenging, and that is a stark comparison to, say, just building a normal tech company, which is already extremely difficult.
I have a quick sidetrack personal interest question. So Ren, Jeff, you touched on stable coins, and you touched on talent. I actually see some payment stablecoin founders, right? I was wondering if you guys had any thoughts or hot takes on, it's pretty clear that stablecoins are the product market fit, which direction that this could go. Any ideas?
I'll start first. So in Japan, interestingly, Japan actually legalized stablecoin, right? Which is a great thing. So same as crypto and exchange, it's licensed, registered, which means that you are legitimately allowed to do business sustainably. So that's good news. But at the same time, there are rules, and sometimes that rules would really sort of conflict with how you want to do it globally. So I guess my interest, I guess, is that how would the stablecoin come into play when stablecoins ought to be more globally used and transferred. There is a rule in Japan which is great and which is really sustainable and whatnot, but I think we're still sort of experimenting in a sense how this could be really used in our daily lives, and how the foreign exchange and sovereignty of the central banks and all that. I think it's still to be discussed, but I guess we've been talking about this for what, 4 or 5 years already, and now some of these protocols are flourishing. So I think within a year or two there will be some sort of killer use case where there's a real touch point between the stable coin and the real world.
I just want to share something that I just learned yesterday from someone that I respect a lot in the legislative field. So if you look at the kind of regulation, kind of timing wise, right? Countries like Japan has been forerunner for that, and the early regulators would treat Bitcoin and other cryptos, more virtual assets or crypto assets, more like a payment. I think here in Japan, Singapore likewise, currency payment, in that direction. Because don't forget, Bitcoin was coined as point-to-point digital currency to start with. And for some latecomers, and in tech, there is always some sort of virtual for latecomers because they learn enough, look at all that and all that. For Hong Kong government, for example, they would rather treat crypto like a financial product. So there is a fine distinction there, like how regulators, treat crypto in general. Now, specifically to stablecoin, I think there are a couple of things. I don't necessarily have a view or anything, but I would love to put different projects into context of the following, right? Now, is it US dollar denominated a stablecoin? If that's the case, are you promoting US dollar dominance on the global financial market or not? Is that something on a priority list for the local government or specific jurisdiction that you're operating? I think that's a big picture kind of thing. Two, user case. So I don't have the exact number because the things change a lot. At one point in time, I think globally on the CFI exchange, probably 70%, 70% of transactions are transacted with a trading pair involving a stablecoin. So that certainly is a big user case, but that may not necessarily be the user case that regulators would want to promote stablecoin for. So what are exactly the stablecoins, user case? In one of the most popular talked about chain, I wouldn't name it because we don't want to, we can't. But wallet and payment would be the user case they're promoting. And with the recent kind of events that affects the app or the network they operate on, there are certain kind of withdrawal hold or impact on that. Now, that triggers another question. So what kind of public chain you're building your stablecoin projects are? If it's Ethereum, then is there a solution that you would make the gas fee somewhat bearable, right? So that you can keep the transactions cost effective, cost efficient, or are you going to work with other layer ones that boost to be more reliable, more scalable, more cost effective? So these are the couple of considerations, and we of course would then look at the exact payment. When it comes to user case, the applications, whether that will be consumer-faced, user-friendly, how that's going to fit into the broader financial system. So it's when I say low-hanging fruit, is that asset class-wise that will be huge. There are a lot of things that can be done, especially in current interest environments. But for each project, there will be tons of challenges and. Of course, we're happy to work with some, all these projects, and when there is an input or guidance or some sort of thoughts, invited, we're happy to chime in and give some advice.
Just on the interest of time, we might have one or two more topics we can cover. And WebEx started out as a crypto native conference, but this year it's more of a frontier tech area as well. And in some ways, as Mark Andreessen put it, software is eating the world. I always said crypto was eating software, but it seems like AI is eating everything, right? We're seeing a lot of this cross-section between AI and blockchain as well. And I'm wondering if you guys have seen some investment opportunities in that area, if you guys have any ideas about that cross-section. Anybody? No AI?
I think obviously AI is going to have massive implications across all of our daily lives, and it's really interesting to see where that convergence will go. So it's certainly an area that we're looking at.
Yeah,
Too much on your end?
Yeah. My former big boss Brian Armstrong just recently tweeted that LLMs and all that should really sort of leverage the blockchain crypto technology, and kind of makes sense. But I guess the question is like, where do you want to use that sort of LLMs and AI technologies, right? I mean, whether that's the automated function of things, or whether that's a coding function of things, or whether that's more like just applying the whole thing into the foundational LLM aspect of things. I still haven't seen a sort of real project as to what that is. So I'm really curious.
It's a bunch of U.S. projects raising a lot of money. Okay, noted. Then a little bit more appropriate for locally here. What about the topic of IP? That's been sort of top of mind here in Japan for quite some time. And more we're seeing a lot of IP-related projects get a lot of notoriety in the industry. If you guys have any thoughts on some of the projects out there, some of the things you may have seen, I think the audience would enjoy that.
Yeah, so we see IP as something that evolves whenever we see new types of technologies emerge. There's usually new forms of IP and new brands that come out of that. So that's an area that we're really excited about. We've actually written some research on that topic of digital IP from our research analyst, Mikey. So we'd love for you guys to check that out. And then, of course, we invested in Pudgy Penguins, and it's really been extremely exciting to see what they've been working on in terms of the Pudgy brand that obviously emerged from the NFTs, and now they have the physical toys in the store and creating Pudgy World, the online game, so that you have new levels of interaction that leverages this technology to really create these global communities and a closer connection and interaction with people. So that's one that we're really excited about.
Yeah, I promise I won't name the project, but we supported one very exciting project that tried to tackle the IP layer for the blockchain. They just announced testnet yesterday, and we'll be announcing the testnet facing the retail users in the coming week. Just watch out for that. And on IP itself, I think we're also very closely working with many digital art/NFT projects. We all know the market is somewhat bearish, but I think there's some smart people are trying to create even the so-called NFT kind of ETF product, where there will be managing actually the IP rights, the licensing revenue, to create a kind of a underlying revenue stream for these. And we're hopeful that this could change the industry a little bit, and to see from the pure kind of collectible kind of a mode into more kind of a licensing revenue generating kind of mode. There is a convergence there between the virtual world and I think how IP has been operated.
Yeah, Kitazawa-san, you're more local here, so I'm sure you're seeing a lot of IP-related projects. I went out to the floor out there, and I was blown away by how many projects that I had never heard before. So vibrant here, right?
Oh my goodness,
Yeah,
Japan's all about IP, and Web3 and IP just goes hand in hand. So this is one of the areas that we are really keen and focused on. And we've seen a lot of protocols and ideas as to how we really sort of maintain and manage. But I think one key aspect is that IP itself, me being originally a lawyer, I'm going to be a bit boring, but is that there's some fragmentation in terms of the rules and regulations of how to manage the IP in the first place. So how do we do it in a Web3 blockchain space? And there's this ISO TC kind of things, trying to sort of build some global standard and all that. But I do want to see a killer Web3 or app or protocol that just sets the standard. And because at the end of the day, IP is all about fandom. So if people want to use it and they keep on using it, that's going to be the standard. And really looking to see who would be that standard.
Yeah, I've been running around the U.S. and everybody's like, "What's happening in Japan?" And I jokingly say, IPO is coming, right? And it seems like it's working. We have
I think it is working.
And people standing in the back. In the interest of time, I think there's probably a lot more founders here than we probably realize. What's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you guys if they have an idea or a pitch that they want to get across your desk? Like a Twitter handle or a Telegram handle, something you can share publicly?
Yeah, I think, well, definitely you can come and chat to me here, but otherwise Twitter would be the way to go. And yeah, it's easy to find me there, Diana C. Biggs, and can connect you in.
Jeff, do you spend a lot of time in Tokyo?
I wish. I try to learn Japanese, but I failed. But I can recognize these three letters, OKJ. Do reach out to them, and there are good partners, and yeah, we actually get a lot of information, a lot of reference about Japanese market, Japanese projects from them. So very exciting to be here. Yeah.
And if you're raising a massive growth round, how do they reach out to Nao?
Well, definitely. I'd love to hear more ideas from all of you folks, and I'll be reachable in anything: LinkedIn, Twitter. I'll be in an event conference, so just talk to me. Just say, hey, now I've got this idea. I'd love to talk and spend some time with you folks.
Great. Diana, Jeff, Nao, thank you so much for your time. That's it for the panel.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. If you can all stand up and come to the center of the stage, you would like to take a photo. And after the photo, once you go to the back, they'll give you the photo. So just please wait in the back. Thank you so much. テーマは VC における視点でした。A little bit more. The theme is VC Perspectives. Thank you very much. ありがとうございました。さあ皆様、お次の、セッションまで少々お待ちください。The next session will begin momentarily. Thank you.